Hello and welcome. This is a really special interview. I'm here with the writer and director of From A to Q. I'm also joined by Sophie Rivers, she plays Alex, and also Holly Ashman, who plays Kayla. From A to Q is a brand new lesbian short film. It is absolutely sure to be a hot film that you're going to want to watch. It's got an amazing storyline. Also features a Taylor Swift song that you will only see in the film festival version. So find your local film festival, get your tickets and see this film, because if you don't see it in film festivals, you won't see the special limited edition version. So that's my top tip for watching this film.
I've been meaning to talk to you about something. You good?
What?
Okay, give it to me.
Right, everyone, get your textbooks out.
When you read the script, what drew you to this production? Was there anything in particular that kind of stood out to you?
I just felt reading it, it felt just real. Like it felt like a real story, and an important story that, it was easy to read, and that I didn't have to work hard to get absorbed into the story. And that's why I kind of felt drawn to it.
Well, I worked with Emma, when was it? 4 years ago? 5 years ago, and I really enjoyed working with her, so I knew that I wanted to work with her again. I don't actually identify as LGBT, but like that didn't matter to me. Like I do a lot of LGBT projects, and I really like the fact that actually there's just a connection. I remember thinking to Emma, I was like the fact that the writing felt really natural, and there was like a relationship or a friendship with these, with these two characters, and then just the journey that it went on. And like, for instance, Sophie's character was just, like the growth of it just felt like a really beautiful story, and it felt very like opening and engaging and really brave to write. And I knew that it was a personal story for Emma, so it just felt like it would be a really lovely, beautiful project to be part of.
When you've worked with someone before, it's who you want to work with again, and I think that works both ways, from like filmmakers and from actors. And I've heard that a lot, people working with the same people over and over again, because I think the one thing when you're making short films is you need to get on with who you're working with. And what's made you go from, because obviously in your kind of day job at the moment you're doing editing, what's pulling you towards directing and making your own films?
I love editing, like I will edit till the day I die, but we lack a lot of representation, and I think we talk a lot about happy stories and stuff, but they're never made. And I don't know, like me and Hands-Off just sat down and we were like, why don't we make something? And we wrote the date, and then we were like, well, who's going to direct it? And I was like, oh, well, I guess I can try. And then from there, I hated it. I'm not going to lie. I hated it because it wasn't my thing. And the people I worked with, some of them were really difficult to work with, but we did it and it did really well. And then I don't know, just something about it. I think when you start, you just kind of don't want to stop. But I do have to go out there and say that making a film in the pandemic, for someone who's really shy and who's really like, I'm an introvert, and I really struggled to direct my first film. When you put a mask on your face, it is the easiest thing to do, is speak to somebody with your eyes and just talk to them and like tell them what you'd like, or what like how you feel about something. There's just something about having a mask on your face, because it hides all of your insecurities. Like I'm so insecure about this. And when you're looking down at your actor who's like sitting down on a chair and you're looking down like that, the first thing, like for me, it's like, I just get so like paranoid about how I look or how I am in that moment, and I lose all focus. And then I just start to be like, oh yeah, you just do what you want. You just do what you want, because I don't want you to look at me anymore. But like with a mask on, I seriously, like I felt so safe, and I felt like I could really tell people like what I wanted. And I was, so I think in the future I'll be like called a masked director or something, because I'm just gonna wear a mask.
I was gonna say, we need to get you just like basically some kind of like costume and just But there is something in that, isn't there? Because I think there's a storyline in EastEnders where the little boy is slightly autistic or something, and when he puts on a costume he feels confident. And I think there is something about that vulnerability, and sometimes having that mask or costume or being, and it happens online as well, everyone does it, as soon as you're behind an online profile, all bets are off. You can be super confident because you've got this kind of safety net. So that makes real sense. Holly, this isn't the first lesbian film. As you mentioned, you've worked with Emily before. Are you worried about being pigeonholed to a certain extent in that sense, or not?
No, No, I'm not worried at all. Like people used to joke that I got cast as a lot of like lesbian characters because of my nose ring. I was like, what? Like, what? But I think naturally I'm a very open person, and so I don't know if that was like a reason. But no, I'm not worried about being pigeonholed at all. If anything, I'd actually, you know, if that was my role for the rest of my life, great, bring it on. I'd love it.
Is there anything particular that's drawing you to these stories? Because I think allies are really important, and actually at the end of the day, good actors are really important. What is it that's drawing you to these projects in particular?
Yeah, I think it's everything. I think it's the people. I think it's the writing. I've always loved new writing and independent projects. I could relate to that character, but in like a different way. It doesn't matter if it was with a girl or with a boy. It was just a very relatable script. So I think scripts that really speak to me or speak to my heart or feel very real. And I like things that are quite naturalistic. I'm naturally a romantic person. So I like things that kind of romanticize that or gritty. So I don't know. I think if a script speaks to me and a character speaks to me, that's what makes me, you know, like draws me in.
You've also had a bit part in EastEnders, I saw, where you got a lovely scene with Max Bannon. What would your kind of next dream role be? Do you have any ideas, or is there anything, like, if you could star in anything, what would you like to star in?
Oh my God, I wasn't prepared for that question. Really, because there is so much stuff that I always watched and I was like, oh my God, I'd love to be in that. I don't know, I love theatre. Is always sort of like, theatre is where my sort of heart always has been, and like what I've always done when I was younger, but I do really love film and TV. So I would love like a real like gritty, like, you know, like BBC or Netflix, something that's just, I don't know, I quite like, or maybe like playing something really like chavvy, you know, really like my classic casting, my other casting apart from that. I don't know. There's so many roles, so I can't even think. Well, like
I must admit,
when you watch
in some of those close-ups, you could just see without any words what your mind was going through, and I think that is, you know, just something really special.
Well, I'm glad I could come across, because I think me and Sophie's, when we did that scene, we did feel it, like, in, you know, it was quite a long scene to film, but it never felt long, and the fact that, like Emma said, just taking our time and just actually just feeling it was really nice, and also really liberating as an actor. And I don't know, it was really lovely.
Yeah, I was going to say that was quite funny with that scene, because the scene was written in 3 pages. So 3 pages is technically 3 minutes. And I literally, on my phone, every single time, I had the timer on, because I was like, okay, how long is it going to take to like finish the scene? And it took them like between 8 and 9 minutes every time. And we did like 7 takes or something. I don't fucking know. But like, it was so crazy. And everybody was like around me, like just watching the monitor. And it was just like, it was so cool. It was pretty awesome. Because that was such an intense scene, and like I was like, oh my God, how's this going to play out? And we did rehearsals like 2 days before or something at mine, and I can't remember, we did run through that scene, or we did, I can't fucking even remember.
We changed a bit of it, didn't we, like just right before filming, because it, like, just to make it feel a bit more natural. So I think in those moments, I think it was also us sort of being like, not improvising, but actually saying what we felt in that moment, which I think sort of added to it. I think it felt really like just authentic, and it did, it worked. It did work.
I think I said to you guys, like, as long as we get to the end, like to that point, you guys can basically say whatever the fuck you want, but like, just, you know, you have to get to that moment, and as long as you know the journey, then I think you'll get there. And I think that was,
that's really rare for you to say as a writer that you were happy for actors to change words, because actually quite often when you get a writer and director, they're quite precious over those words because they've written them.
A lot of the time, I think, I love writers because, you know, they create such amazing things, but sometimes they are quite, it's, you know, their words, it's quite precious to them, so you say the right thing. But I have worked with directors who have been like, if it doesn't feel natural, change the script. And I think that's what makes acting really great, because sometimes you're quite restricted to certain things and what you can say, and then you have to act it in that certain way, and sometimes you have the sort of more freeing, liberating ways of working, which I also enjoy. I quite enjoy improvising and playing and changing it up, and I kind of thank Emma for that, because she was just like, if it doesn't feel natural, change what feels natural. And I think it works a lot better even watching it back. So I was quite worried to watch that scene, because I was like, oh no, like, and then you watch it, I just said watching it, and I was like, actually I felt all the feels, and it actually worked out really well.
Yeah, I think that's really funny though, because with that scene, and that was like obviously my most important scene, there was another scene where I was very much like, can you say it like this? Like, just like this, and you said it over. I was like, it's not really how I'm hearing it in my head. Can you like just exactly like this? And I would start to say it how I wanted it. And eventually like we got there, but it's just like I was picking my moments, like the stupidest things. I was like, can this please be said like this?
That's when we let you off, because you also let us have, you know, the freedom. It's fine.
But that's the best thing I think about kind of film like that, especially indie film, is it is much more of a family, and so you do get that kind of like give and take and that kind of real connection, and everyone there is really passionate about the film, which I think gives a different experience really to being on set.
And I think creatives are very honest anyway, because, you know, you're, like you said, you're all sharing in the same passion, you all want the same, you know, final, you know, product at the end. So I think yeah, I agree with what you just said.
Can you share something that happened behind the scenes or on set that might kind of interest the audience? Like, was there anything particularly that from those 4 days that stood out as like something you'll keep with you from this filming?
I think like working on the dance part was really fun. When we were filming that dance scene, everyone got really emotional, and I didn't foresee that happening. I think it kind of meant a lot to everybody working on it, and it was kind of brought everyone together in that moment.
It is a particularly beautiful moment in the film. That dance scene really, I think, does pull together a really nice moment, and the lighting in particular really just creates a beautiful atmosphere and really kind of draws you in. So I can see why on set as well everyone can really kind of get into that, because it was just, I mean, I wasn't there on set for that, and I was just like, I missed that. That was just like stunning. So I can see why. How did you find the acting experience, acting alongside Holly? Did you find you connected straight away? And was there anything that you did specifically to help make that chemistry happen? Because it was really like good on screen, and you could really see that chemistry.
I'm glad. Yeah, I mean, I think right away we got on, and we, you know, became friends quickly. Rehearsing before helped. We had a couple days of rehearsal to really delve into the characters and work through some of the bigger scenes, so that helped. And a lot of the movement work that we did, like especially for the dance and like more like intimate scenes, was great, and just like our connection as people as well. So I think all of that really helped that, and you know, we're friends now, so good.
Excellent. From an acting perspective, how did you find filming in a pandemic? Because I think it's quite a unique experience really right now.
I was actually incredibly grateful.
Work,
exactly. I was like, oh my god, this is, because obviously we were meant to film it in April, and then it got cancelled, and I was like, and then a couple of other of my acting jobs got cancelled, and I was like, oh no, this is the saddest times. And then so yeah, just absolutely over the moon and overjoyed to actually film it. But this is going to sound weird, but it actually didn't feel that weird being surrounded by masks. And I don't know if it's because we've been used to it the surrounding months, and actually everyone on that set was so like professional and hardworking that actually the masks, to me, it's like I didn't really notice them. It's only when someone sort of pulled it down, like if they were going home or like walking away, and I was like, oh my god, that's what you look like this whole time. It was interesting. It's kind of amazing to say that we filmed that in the pandemic. Like Emma said, like I think it really, I don't know, I think it will always be very special because of that.
I guess the only thing about the pandemic in general is I hadn't really done anything for a long time until that point. You know, I had to kind of ease my way back into acting and preparing and stuff like that, because it had been a while, and I had to get back into that mindset after being in like lockdown mindset. So there was a challenge in itself in that. I mean,
thank you so much for sharing a little bit of a behind the scenes inside take and some of the kind of the hows of this short film coming together. I think, as I say, it's definitely not a coming out story. I think it's so much deeper than that, and it's really going to have broad appeal. It's just a really stunningly shot film, and a really good storyline. So thank you so much for making it, Emily, and for everyone watching, make sure you find a film festival it's showing in to see the original true first version. Keep an eye out, follow From A to Q on Twitter and other social media, and do support it at film festivals where you can. So yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, have a good evening.